Okay, let's get going here. PowerPoint will work. All right. Welcome to the stat list highlights. This is the stat of every single tournament that I have information for, at least. It does not include a good bit of the pop-ups, but that's by my own admission. I don't do stats for those. If people wanted to do stats, they could have done it themselves, but we all know who's able to do the work in here and who doesn't. So, moving right along. Interesting point number one. We have had a total of 154 unique participants in our tournaments. Of that, 43 players have only played in one tournament. 56 have played in 2 to 5 tournaments. 29, 6 to 10 tournaments. 9 have played 11 to 15 tournaments. And 17 people have played in 16 tournaments or more. Moving right along, because the weather report here says that there is going to be a big-ass storm, and I don't want the power to cut out. We're going to move right along to the first juicy section, the top 10 overall most positive. This is taken regardless of how many tournaments someone has played in. This is just who has the most positive. All right? Starting at number 10. It's crazy. No, really, it's crazy. Plus 421 over 11 tournaments. At number 9, we have Monster at plus 427 over 10 tournaments. At number 8, we have Famous, plus 434 over 4 tournaments. I guess he's just trying to pad his stats. That if someone posts that meme in general, I think that would be very appropriate. Next up at number 7, we have Ace, plus 474 over 11 tournaments. I guess the piss works. What can I say? At number 6, we've got another Canadian, Doherty, plus 569 over 17 tournaments. Sorry, almost slipped there. At number 5, we have someone who has played in the most tournaments. We have Havoc, plus 880 over 20 tournaments. 20. Just let that sink in for a minute. Now, I know that's a pretty big jump from Dory to Havoc, but this next jump's going to be even bigger. At number 4, we have Hurricane, plus 1,132 over 19 tournaments. At number 3, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mines, at positive 1,637 over 19 tournaments as well. At number 2, we have Gunshot, positive 1,753 over 19 tournaments as well. And I think we can all guess who's number 1 here. We have Stormy, positive 1,830 over 15 tournaments. Well done, Stormy. I'd offer you a prize, but I don't really want to pay that, so whoa. Next up, we get to the top 10 overall most negative. Again, this is just, doesn't matter how many tournaments you've played in, this is who's gone the most negative overall in their time in our tournaments. And by the way, for those in the chat, thank you for joining in. Appreciate you all. I see you in there. I see you, Gavin. You, Monas, Mike, Famous, Stormy, Psycho, and Rachel, sweetheart. I see you in there. Hello. All right. At number 10, we have Soupy, legend from Guam, negative 348 over 6 tournaments. At number 9, we have Bullseye, negative 360 over 7 tournaments. At number 8, Rybread, negative 361 over 8 tournaments. Now get ready for this next one. Number 7 is Squanto, negative 421 over 18 tournaments. Number 6 goes to Kid Mode, negative 469. Nice, over 9 tournaments. Number 5, don't look at this one. It's of no consequence. I'm kidding. It's unfortunately me. Negative 470 over 16 tournaments. Ripperoonie, F's in the chat. Violins, do what you gotta do. That being said, it's going to look a lot better compared to our number 4, which is Eddie. Negative 541 over 11 tournaments. Next up is a name you probably haven't seen in a while. Simon is at number 3 for overall most negative. Negative 576 over 13 tournaments. At number 2, we have another man who is both myth and legend. He is the infamous Nos, Scion, Kyle, however you know him, at negative 1,050 over 15 tournaments. And I see a lot of you in the chat trying to predict the number 1. And you are unfortunately correct. I love you, buddy, but I got to do it to you. The number 1 is Euphoria at 19 tournaments, going negative 1,278. But you are number 1 in our hearts, bud. Keep on keeping on. Next up, we are going to go to the top 5 kills. This is just straight up how many kills over the course of the tournaments you've played in have you gotten. Obviously, the people who have played more are going to be higher on this list. At number 5, we have Havoc. 6,229 combined kills over his 20 tournaments. At number 4, it's Crazy at 6,474 over his 16 tournaments. At number 3, we have Gunshot. 6,589 kills over 19 tournaments. At number 2, Stormy at 6,732 over 15 tournaments. And get ready for this jump. Number 1 goes to Mines. 8,135 kills over 19 tournaments. Result of multiple losers bracket runs. You play in more tournaments, you play more games, that's how that shakes out. Next up, we have top 5 assists. So these are our team players. At least we would hope. Number 5 goes to Doherty. So congratulations, Doherty, at 4,251 assists over 17 tournaments. And again, this is going to be one of those where you play more games, play more tournaments, you're going to end up higher on this kind of list. Number 4 goes to Stormy, 4,255 assists. And no, random bot, that is not something we are interested in. Thank you, goodbye. Spot number 3 goes to Ace's roommate, aka Scythe, who isn't in here anymore. You know, not sure why in the world. he went off the deep end. But number 3, Scythe, 4,362 assists over 20 tournaments. He is one of 3 people in the 20 tournament club. At number 2, we have Gunshot, 4,473 assists over 19 tournaments. And last but not least, we have Mines, once again, 4,763 assists over 19 tournaments. And yes, Stormy, I see your chat. We've had a lot of tournaments. We've also had a lot of individual participants. If you didn't see, we have had 154 individual participants. So yeah, it is kind of crazy to think about. All right. Next up, we have top 5 deaths. These are the people who have spent the most time in tournament in death screen. At number 5, we have our third person in the 20 tournament club, Khan. 5,706 deaths over 20 tournaments. At number 4, we have Scythe. 5,764 deaths. At number 3, It's Crazy, once again, is on here. 6,053 deaths over his 16. Number 2 is Euphoria. 6,098 deaths over 19 tournaments. And I see in the chat, Famous, you think it's going to be Kyle in the top death spot? You are wrong. Keep in mind, this is, the more you play, the more of these you're going to accumulate, regardless how good you are. The number 1 is Mines. 6,498 deaths. Makes a certain amount of sense. You play more individual games, play more tournaments, you're going to die more. Just, that's how it works. Now we're going to get into the objectives, actually. We're going to get into flag captures. All right, this is, again, not looking at who had the most in a particular tournament. This is lifetime, as it were. So, at number 5, we have Doherty with 63 flag captures. At number 4, we have Crazy, 67 captures. Number 3 is going to be Mines, 83 captures over his 19 tournaments. I'm going to give you a second. I want you to guess who do you think is going to be at the number 2 and number 1 spots. Because I bet you it's not going to be who you think. All right. At the number 2 spot, it's Scythe at 96 captures. Scythe at 96 for our number 2. Who do you think is going to be our number 1? Gonna give you a countdown for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Number 1 for flag captures is Euphoria with 102. So saying Stormy and Zilge. Zilge does show up on one of these lists. Gunshot, not me. Yeah, no. You're usually yelling at Cisco to actually pull the flag. Alright. Next up, we have Bomb Arms. For the people who set themselves up the bomb. We have a tie for spot number 5, Zilge and Euphoria at 11 arms apiece. At number 4, we have another tie. Gunshot and Hurricane at 12 arms apiece. At number 3, we have Stormy at 13 arms. At number 2, we have Mines at 14. And last but not least, we have Scythe at 18 arms. All right, we are getting to our very last slide, and then I will end the stream and post the master stat list in the stats channel for you to peruse as you see fit. We have top 5 all time. And this list might just surprise you a little bit. At number 5, we have Zilch once again. 56 minutes, 16 seconds of ball time. At number 4, we have Stormy, making an OBJ list. 56 minutes, 29 seconds. At the number 4, only a few seconds separating them, actually. Which is kind of crazy. 13, to be precise. At number 3, we have Revert. 57 minutes, 48 seconds. At number 2, we have a bit of a surprise, but a welcome one. At number 2 is Zan. Zanticity with 58 minutes, 28 seconds of ball time. Oh, and Zan, that 20 tournament count, that's the number of tournaments an individual has played in. I think there's been more than 20 like individual tournaments. But all right. At our number 1 spot for ball time, the first person to break out of this category, I thought something was wrong with the stat sheet, but it turned out this guy just has so much time holding the ball. It's almost as if there was a clip of it in one of the real ones experiences. Doherty is the number 1 for ball time among us all with 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 23 seconds of holding the ball top middle, hiding behind a chunk of a fusion coil, and being yelled at by Zilch the entire time. With that, I want to thank y'all for joining me. I know the time is a little weird, just it's a busy day today. This is the time that I had. The rebroadcast will be available, as well as the actual stat file for you to look at as you will. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope y'all have a wonderful day and a wonderful Christmas. Bye-bye.